The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams. Wow, that is gorgeous. Jody Lynn Photography, the proprietor here where we're staying. Look at that ocean storm. It's a cloudy start on Cape Cod, but it shows clear sky up here. The sun just came out. Out the door here at 8 o'clock in the morning on Friday, October 17th. Do we have a view of Mount Washington from the front here? Well, let's start off with the view from Ryan Haas. Had the overnight shift again last night. He said it snowed off and on much of the night, very lightly for the most part, and picked up the first measurable of the season. Yesterday it was a 0.1, and by this morning it was a 0.4, 4/10 of an inch of snow. But he says the rime ice is what made it look really white, and more than an inch of rime ice. So if you combine the rime and the snow, about an inch and a half of white, crystalline H2O on top of Mount Washington this morning. But the question is, can we see it from down here in the valley, so to speak? Oh, just almost, but not quite, because there's been an undercast today. There it is over there. Now, because I've never stayed here before, I'm not exactly sure which way to point the camera, but I think that that probably is Madison on the right, and Mount Washington would be up there in that thicker cloud. So there's a cloud between here on 302 and the summit of Mount Washington. This was the image as the sun was coming up from the tower cam, and look at that Erie. That's super cooled cloud droplets freezing instantly on contact, pointing into the wind. All right, so noisy over here. I love this scene. So not even cold enough for a frost right here, but the regional roundup this morning shows plenty cold for a frost in central New York this morning. I can't remember what station that was, north of Binghamton, south of Saranac Lake. I think it was called Little River or something like that. 19 degrees in central New York under the center of a new cold high pressure system that's going to come in. It's going to turn around and turn into a warm high pressure. But that storm at sea we just saw in the satellite image, that has the wind at those buoys 45 to 50 miles an hour out there by the Gulf Stream, as this storm is now over warmer water. And Nantucket's still gusting to 32 miles an hour. So ferry service disruption continues now. It's been there pretty much all week long. And this is the same old storm going through a number of reformations. And there it is on the satellite that we just looked at again. And those are thunderstorms there to the north side of the center of the low. And kind of breathless. Just made the trek back here where it's a lot quieter. The sun is out. We probably will get a view of Mount Washington because I don't have to leave for a couple of hours. So we'll see it tomorrow. Oh, wait, Tim, time out. You forgot to talk about Mount Katahdin verification. 3 days ago, you said 14, then 31 inches 2 days ago, and then yesterday you said 10 inches. No, I didn't say that. I said the NAM said that, and I thought it was kind of crazy, but it was fun to look at, wasn't it? Well, here's the web camera verification this morning from the NEOC cam there down on Millinocket Lake, and beautiful foliage, and there's a cloud up there, and it is somewhat white. So I would say maybe about 29 and a half inches short of 31, if that. Probably enough to track a squirrel up there. Any Appalachian Trail through hikers finishing up there today? Can you send us a shot of your footprints in the snow? So NAM, crazy NAM. We did that for fun, didn't we? We knew it wasn't really going to happen. All right, now back to wherever I was in my conversation. So the National Hurricane Center now is talking about this storm south of Nova Scotia, perhaps picking up some subtropical characteristics out there in the middle of the ocean, even though it would not mention anything about it when it was on the coast of North Carolina, battering the coast for 3 days over the weekend, last weekend. All right, talked about that enough. Let it go. Ocean Prediction Center says, here's the movement of it. You see that red arrow there, center of the storm down, I think below 990 millibars, and they say new and developing, and storm warnings are in effect over the ocean. That arrow kind of showing it moving toward the southwest, then south, then southeast. So it's doing a loop-de-doo underneath the Greenland block which is at its maximum right now. The Greenland block is going to begin to release next week. That means systems are going to be a little more progressive. We won't be tracking the same storm for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we may have 3 different storms next week. Here is the radar first thing this morning, and you have a swirl going across the Great Lakes, and almost looks like cold enough for a little wintry mix there north of Lake Ontario. That is a warm front with low pressure on the backside of our high pressure system. And I showed you the high. Did I show you the high? Here's another view of the 8 a.m. surface analysis from Weather Prediction Center. So you get that storm on the right. It says 992, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And what about 1024 high that stretches from Canada down to the southeastern United States? We had frost all the way to Virginia this morning. And then the low pressure system moving across Minnesota, and that's moving north. And we have just perfect timing for this high pressure system to bring us nice weather for our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What about surf weather? And here's the view at Hampton Beach, New Hampshire this morning from the cinnamonrainbows.com cam. There's definitely a swell. Now it's interesting. The buoy says it's an 8-foot swell, but it's only 7-second period. And it looks kind of small compared to 2 days ago when we had a 5-foot swell and it was a 9-second period. But the forecast from the Ocean Prediction Center is for the swell to increase here on east-facing shores from Cape Cod to Maine. Looks like we're going to have about a 6 to 10-foot swell with an 11-second period beginning tomorrow into Saturday. So surf weather with the wind going light. It's still very gusty from the north. It's going to go calm tomorrow, and then it's going to really get windy from the south on Sunday. I don't have a lot of time here to do all the other fun things. Thank you for all your comments about Bob Copeland and about how it... Tim, I looked at those web cameras. That certainly looked like a lot more than 0.1 inches of snow. Again, that was rime frost. But I want to go right to the Euro and see if we can't get this edited quickly. Checkout time is 10 a.m. I've got, 110 minutes to get out of here. And so here's the Euro. And there's this storm on the very far right. We've been watching for pretty much a week now. Say goodbye to that one. High pressure sinking off to our south with calm air. There'll be frost tonight with temperature and dew point in the 20s and 30s and 40s near the ocean. I don't think we're going to have a frost on my tomatoes yet. And then there's that storm going to our north. Well, actually, it already had happened, hadn't it? That rain mostly missing us to the west and to the north. And then the high gets off to our south and east on Sunday. Look at all those isobars. Look at that storm coming across the middle of the country. The initial storm is going to go up into Canada. And are we going to have 3 cyclogeni next week? 3 storms deepening over New England. Well, here's number 1 on the southern end of that front. We have a storm cutting off right over New England on Monday. That would be almost a little bit of a nor'easter, except for the fact that it's cutting right across central New England. So the wind will actually be from the south on the south coasts and from the north and northern New England and from the east and eastern New England. Bands of rain, just warm enough for all rain with that one. The temperature will have been in the 60s on Sunday, falling into the 50s, and then 40s on the backside of that. And there's a deepening trough in now the Great Lakes states. And here comes another low at us. And it looks like just as quickly as we try to warm up a little bit late Tuesday into Wednesday, another sharp cold front with another cyclogenesis happening here on Wednesday. So there's number 2 with a chance of rain and maybe some elevation snow starting to work in at that point. And then let's go for another one. Storms are coming in off the Pacific coast. And now they're much more progressive crossing the nation because the Greenland block is beginning to ease, but there's still enough of a block that it keeps the front over New England. And cyclogenesis number 3 on Friday. Oh, not quite. It looks like it's trying, though, doesn't it, with the 540 line here and some precipitation. So there's at least a short wave, if not another low pressure system forming again next Friday into Saturday. And that would be day 9. And now Sunday, October 26th is day 10. And their front is kind of right over us. There's a big warm wave to our west with those red lines being warm westerly winds, but we have the blue 540 line kind of cut off over us, so instability, and we're still chilly at that point. And the warm wave does not look as potent as it did yesterday in Canada. And on the west side, look at this, 2 more storms, one in the Rockies with snow and lower elevation rain, and another powerhouse of a storm coming into Oregon with more snow for the mountains of California and Oregon, from the Sierra Nevada to the Cascades. Ski season probably kicking off before Halloween there in the West Coast and maybe someplace like Loveland, Colorado. but not in New England. We have a nice 10, 30 plus high pressure system right in the middle of the nation. We'll be on the cool side of that with more frost and freeze. And as we get towards Halloween, with those storms coming in off of the Pacific Ocean and the cold in Canada and the sort of decaying Greenland block, I think the fact that we're not getting a big snowstorm in October is probably a good thing. As I just opened my eyes and stopped with the maps and done with the weather forecast, we remember one Halloween, I can't remember, 15 years ago, or Wildcat up the street here, got like 30 inches of snow. And then the next significant snowstorm we had was around Easter. So usually huge snows in October do not portend a good winter. November, though, that's a different story. But the fact that it's been a very interesting October. Last year, we did have 15 inches of snow at Jay Peak a year ago this week, but winter did turn into a pretty good winter. And so I'm shifting gears now, done with the weather. Now talk about the past weather. It's been so dry around here. Stopped into the Red Parker pub last night. Thank you for saying hello, Paul and Chris, talking about the drought and the fact that the water level is so low that if a hard freeze comes in and the water level is at the bottom of my 25-foot well, it may freeze up and I may not have water at my property. Chris telling me that story. Oh, that's ugly. So I tried to learn a little bit more about that. And ultimately, on my travel from here in Twin Mountain, I made my way over to Conway to find one of the people I know that's in the know, adventurer, photographer, copywriter, man about everything outdoors here in New Hampshire. My friend Greg Keeler and I talked over there at the junction of the Swift and Saco River on the covered bridges. So ultimately, that's where we're headed. It took me some time to get there. I was hemming and hawing, trying to find some boots, maybe going hiking, but I did not find either of those things. And I stopped and admired the crows at Breton Woods for a few minutes before making my way over to Conway. So here's yesterday's weather today and more.
And more. Thursday, October 16th. That is a efficient spinning thing. What is wind? There's hardly any wind down here. It's Twin Mountain, looking up at the Twin Mountains, and I see the frost level.
So,
What are those mountains over there?
these are the twins right here, North and South Twin. And then over there, that is Mount Hale.
Mount Hale has some
Hale.
frost up there.
It does.
Is that a hiking trail I see?
It is. Oh, no, where? Over.
You can't quite see it. If you step over here, there's a trail up there.
No, that's actually a ravine. If you
ravine.
had to go up that trail, you'd be doing about a 90-degree angle.
So bring pitons.
Yeah, I'm one of those people, one of those tourists that stops for scenic vistas here on 302, headed toward Breton Woods. And behind this dwelling is the Ammonoosuc River, which I'd like to get closer to. But in the meantime, I break for Neanderthals and crows and ducks and not sure what you are right there, and goblins and Bigfoot and more and more and more. Oh, you had me at hello? Out the door at the boot store. That's the big one. And I get a view of Mount Washington almost here. Drummond's Mountain Shop Outdoor Outfitters. The thing is, my footwear, I've got really fat feet, 10.5, triple E, and it's like the most popular size, wide 10.5, and just about everyone's out of it. I don't know, I think I might be able to get there in my sneakers. Not. And the thing about the Cog Railway today is that it's too icy, so they're not letting people out, and I'm not even sure that the train's going all the way up the mountain. But I was really hoping to at least get to the frost level. How high is Breton Woods? So the frost level must be up 3,000. What do you think? How high is the frost level? I'm having a ball just watching the crows here at Breton Woods. No frost up there. I don't know, they're getting food out of someplace over there. Where are you guys getting all that food? Huh. Yep, he's definitely got something in his mouth, and then his buddy wants it. I would say the Casella dumpster, but it appears closed. picnic table appears unoccupied, but they're centered right over here. Not I'm here, they're not here. I was standing here looking around, and that one was just sitting there. Hi. Do you fly? Do you talk? Do you fly? Come on, take off for me. It's not you, it's me. And a little update from across the street from the Mount Washington Hotel. The golf course looks quiet. Cog Railway right there. That Wambuk station with that new cam is up at about 3,800 feet. So I think this rime frost level is probably right about that corner, right? Rime frost level probably at about 3,600 feet. And if the sky turns blue on our Friday, we'll get a better view. Probably not going up there. Probably heading home. Oh, funny, there was no horseback riding over there at the Profile Deluxe. This is the real Deluxe right here. Just went through Crawford Notch State Park. I should have stopped way back up there. Feels like we've gone down about 2,000 feet. Been going downhill now for 10 minutes. Adjacent now to the Saco River. This foliage looks beautiful to me. Leaving White Mountain National Forest. Welcome to Bartlett, New Hampshire. The first sunshine of the day for TK. Amazing what a difference elevation makes. There's a ski run up there called Tim's Trauma. So you know what ski area we're at, right? Correct. Attitash. Looking pretty quiet. There's another Michael McCormick cam in there too. It's not operating, so I'm showing it right now. Continuing on to Conway. I break for scenic views. That's what it's called here. This rest stop in Conway off of I think 302 and 16 and 16A. There've been some tremendous cloud formations, waves in the sky, which I totally love. You know, the wind up high is about 70 miles an hour, and then down low it's, once you get to the top of Mount Washington, we're like 40, and then about 15 down here. So that causes rolling in the sky and differential advection. And really pretty colors and a pretty good crowd taking it all in right here. Has anyone seen Greg Keeler? What's Greg Keeler up to? Greg, are you around here somewhere? Over there? Is that a New Hampshire State Park flag right there?
I'm Greg Keeler.
You're Greg Keeler?
What can I do for you?
Hi, I'm Tim Kelly.
Hey, Tim.
Actually, we've known each other for a while. Good to see you, Greg. I'm not very good at pretending.
Yeah.
So I see you got a new hat.
I do.
That's
New
a
Hampshire
beautiful
State
hat.
Parks.
And what's your new position? We haven't. Last time I saw you, you were kind of running Cannon Mountain.
I was at Cannon Mountain for a long time, and now I am the marketing director and communication director for New Hampshire State Parks. So all the parks, and that includes I work with the good folks at Cannon Mountain as well.
And so where I just was at that scenic vista where I saw that flag, that is one of your flags?
That is a state of New Hampshire facility. It's a visitor center in North Conway.
And is that, how many of you are under your umbrella now?
The state owns a bunch of visitor centers, like the ones on 95, 93.
Oh, that's different than the 94 state parks you mentioned the other day?
That's correct, yeah. There are 94 state park properties.
Well, it's great to see you again. And truth is that we've been friends for a few decades, and you made videos of me at Attitash, I made videos of you at Cannon, and vice versa and all that. So the reason we're here today is to talk about the state of the water flow. Now, I just went down Crawford Notch, and as I'm coming down the hill, there was a shop with a big marquee out front, and the letters it said, "Rain. Google it. It exists."
That must have been Andy's ski shop.
What do you think that snarky thing was all about?
I think because it rained one day, and maybe there were some upset people because it ruined their day. But we kind of need it.
Yeah, right. I thought it was kind of snarky saying, remember, rain. So what's the state of this river, for example? What river is this?
This is the Swift River that follows the Kankamogus Highway for the most part until we get to Conway, where there's a confluence with the Saco River.
Where I'm just running some B-roll now when we were standing over on that bridge. And have you ever seen the water level this low in these two rivers?
I don't think so. I don't check it on a regular basis, but this is pretty low.
And does this have ramifications in any industry, anything to do with your jobs or anything?
Rain is vital this time of year for ski areas. So we still have some time to accumulate some rain, but this area of New Hampshire is in an extreme drought. And the folks that keep an eye on that say that we need about 11 inches of rain to eliminate the drought completely.
So hopefully before the Thanksgiving vacation.
So anytime within the next 4 or 5 weeks would be great.
Well, I'm working on that. As a matter of fact, do you know what cyclogenesis means?
I'm about to find out, I think.
Be the deepening of low pressure. A wave on a front becomes a low pressure center and then it deepens. And there are 3 of them scheduled to cross New England next week.
That would be helpful.
One of them may even be a little bit flaky, if you know what I mean.
All right.
When does it usually start snowing around here?
Can be any time, you know. Once in a while we get some snow in October, sometimes November.
I remember a Wildcat, I can't remember now, like 15 years ago. We were about 25 inches in Halloween. And then I think it snowed again around Easter.
Yeah, not in between.
Right.
Yeah.
So you really don't want deep snows in October.
That can happen. Yeah, sometimes you know I do have some of the snowleage pictures from years past.
Love those.
This year we're.
Yeah. Let's talk foliage.
I don't even know if we have the foliage.
I see a pretty tree right here.
We did find the red tree.
The red tree. Allow me to bend down now. That is a maple leaf, and it is beautiful.
It's a beauty. Yeah.
So there are some beautiful leaves around.
Yeah, there are some trees around.
What I like to say about New England foliage is even a bad season is nice.
Yeah.
And so look at that dark cloud. That could produce some rain. I thought it was going to snow on Mount Washington, to tell you the truth. That's one of the reasons I came up here.
I think they got some freezing something or other.
Yeah, it's white up there. It was enough that I couldn't take the Cog Railway up there and get off the train, so I chose not to pay $100 to ride up to just look out the window. And plus my shoes. You know a good boot store around here by any chance?
There are a few.
And this one no longer takes cars. I'm assuming it did once in a while. Once upon a time, rather.
I would guess, though I don't know why there's 2. Right here.
Uh-oh, it looks like we're being watched. So I would bring my drone here. I am getting a drone. And what are the rules about drones around here anyway?
They're subject to whatever the local rules are. So I would encourage anybody who wants to fly one to look and check before.
Apparently the word is already out that Tim and Greg Keeler are here.
I do have a pen if you end up, getting to the point where you're signing somebody's.
I hope it doesn't turn into like Artist Bluff over at the Notch. What happened to Artist Bluff at the Notch during the Columbus Day weekend?
Got a tiny bit busy.
You had to direct traffic?
I was one of many.
Got the drone. Didn't go swimming, did it?
No, of course not.
It's a smart drone.
I'd be swimming.
It's a smart drone with a smart operator.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's fun though. I'm getting one too.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun.
I love your rig. This is awesome. You got everything going here. This could be the end of the video. If you hear music, piano music, back to the traditional Captain Spacetime. Round and round piano. If you hear that. Tap house. Barley and salt and kitchen. Full name. Let's go by the mural. North Conway, New Hampshire. Look at that. I used to hang around here a long time ago, but it's been a while. All right, turn off the camera. Wonderful reunion with Greg inside there. Kaylee and the barley and salt and some magic up in the sky here in North North Conway, New Hampshire. Signing off till tomorrow. Heading south, so Steve and T-Rex in the morning. Look at that face. Winter is coming.